It starts like any normal night, quiet, peaceful. Nothing feels out of place. The kind of silence that makes you feel safe, like the world has slowed down just enough for you to breathe. But sometimes that silence hides something else, something you don't notice until it's too late. Because the scariest moments don't always come with warning. They appear suddenly, and once they do, they never really leave. These are not made-up stories. These are real experiences from real people who went through something they still cannot fully explain. The first story comes from a man who had just moved into a small apartment in an old building. It wasn't anything special, but it was affordable, quiet, and perfect for someone living alone. The first few days went by normally. He unpacked, set up his furniture, and started getting used to his new routine. Nothing strange, nothing unusual, until the fourth night. At exactly 2 a.m., he woke up suddenly. Not from a dream, not from a noise loud enough to scare him, just awake. And then he heard it. Footsteps, slow, steady, walking back and forth in the hallway outside his bedroom. At first, he thought it was his imagination. Maybe someone upstairs. Maybe pipes in the building making strange sounds. But then he remembered something that made his stomach drop. There was no one above him. He lived on the top floor. The footsteps continued for minutes. Not random sounds, not creaks. Clear footsteps. Like someone walking with purpose. Back and forth. Back and forth. He sat in bed, frozen, trying to listen carefully, waiting for it to stop. It didn't. Finally, he gathered the courage to get up. Slowly, he walked toward his bedroom door. As he opened it just slightly, the footsteps stopped. Instantly, complete silence. He stepped into the hallway. Nothing. No one. Every door was closed. The air felt thick, like the room had been disturbed seconds before he walked in. He checked every corner, every space. Nothing. He went back to bed, but sleep didn't come easy that night. And that was just the beginning. Over the next few days, things started to change. Small things at first. A chair slightly moved. A cabinet left open. His phone not where he remembered placing it. He tried to ignore it, telling himself it was just stress from moving. But every night, at the same time, the footsteps returned. Same pattern, same pace. One night he decided he needed proof, something real, something he could listen to the next day and confirm he wasn't losing his mind. He placed his phone in the hallway, turned on the recorder, and went back to bed. At exactly 2:13 a.m., it started again. The next morning he checked the recording. The footsteps were there, clear, loud enough to remove any doubt. But then something else appeared in the audio. A faint whisper, not clear enough to understand words, but close enough to know it was not just background noise. It sounded like someone trying to speak quietly, right next to the phone. He didn't stay another night. He packed his things and left the same day without telling anyone why. The second story is even more disturbing. A group of 4 friends decided to go on a late-night drive. Just something to break the boredom. Music playing, laughing. talking about random things. It felt normal, relaxing, like any other night. Around midnight, they took a shortcut, a road none of them had used before. It was surrounded by trees with no streetlights in sight, just darkness and the headlights cutting through it. That's when they saw her, a woman standing on the side of the road, completely still, wearing white, her head slightly lowered, her face unclear in the dim light. The driver slowed down. "Should we stop?" one of them asked. Another immediately said no. Something felt wrong. Not dangerous in an obvious way, but unsettling. Like something wasn't right about the situation. As they got closer, the woman slowly raised her arm, not waving, not asking for help, just pointing forward. No emotion, no movement, just pointing. They drove past her. Silence filled the car. No one laughed anymore. One of them slowly turned around to look back. She's gone. Everyone looked. The road behind them was empty. No footsteps. No sign of her walking away. Just gone. They tried to explain it. Maybe she moved quickly. Maybe they missed something. But deep down, none of them believed that. They kept driving. 5 minutes later, they saw her again, standing on the side of the road. Same position, same white clothing, same slow movement as she raised her arm, pointing forward. This time, no one spoke. No one questioned anything. The driver pressed the accelerator and didn't look back. They didn't stop until they reached a populated road. Even now, years later, they all remember that moment clearly. Not because of what they saw, but because of how it made them feel. Like they weren't supposed to be there. The third story comes from a security guard working the night shift in an office building. He had been doing the job for years, walking empty hallways, checking cameras, making sure everything was secure. It was quiet work, boring most nights, but one night changed everything. Around 3 a.m., while watching the security monitors, he noticed something strange. Movement on the third floor, a shadow passing across the hallway. He assumed someone had broken in. He grabbed his flashlight and went upstairs. When he reached the third floor, everything was quiet. No sounds, no signs of forced entry. He checked each office one by one. Nothing. As he turned to leave, he heard a sound behind him. A door slowly creaking open. He froze. Turning around slowly, he saw one of the office doors slightly open. He was sure it had been closed earlier. He walked toward it, pushing it open carefully. The room was empty. But one thing caught his attention. A chair in the corner was moving, rocking slightly, as if someone had just stood up. At that exact moment, his radio burst into loud static, sharp, sudden, uncomfortable. He tried adjusting it, but then, through the static, he heard something. A voice, soft, clear enough to understand. "Don't turn around." His body went cold. The voice didn't feel like it came from the radio. It felt close, right behind him. He didn't move, didn't turn. He slowly stepped out of the room, keeping his eyes forward. As soon as he reached the hallway, the door behind him slammed shut. Loud, violent. He ran without looking back. The next morning, he checked the security footage. There was no record of anyone entering the building, no doors opening, no signs of movement, but on the third-floor camera, there was something else. A shadow standing directly behind him. The entire time he was inside that room, not moving, not leaving, just there, watching. These stories are not just about fear, they are about moments where reality stops making sense, where logic fails and explanations don't exist. People who experience these moments didn't go looking for them. They didn't expect them. But once it happened, it stayed with them. Because sometimes the scariest thing isn't what you see. It's what you feel. The presence you can't prove. The sound you can't explain. The moment where everything inside you says, something is not right. And if these real stories gave you chills, make sure you subscribe right now, because this is just the beginning. Part 2 will take things even further, into mysteries that still have no answers.